absolutely great to see you all here this evening for this important milestone in the history of the college and also for the wider city of Armagh. The closure of the Armagh campus at Lonsdale Street marks the end of an era of further education, and you all recognise that. But it also marks the beginning of a new and exciting phase, the future of Southern Regional College. Certainly as Principal and Chief Executive of the college, I'm excited by the prospect of replacing this old building with a modern 21st century college designed to meet the future needs of all citizens right across the greater Armagh area and region. Now, whilst it's only right that we look forward to a brighter future through this new building project, it's important to look back and reflect on the long history of further and technical education here in Armagh City over the last 115 years. Indeed, as I was doing some research and looking back through what archives and historical documents we could find, and Peter was telling me there this evening, they are indeed quite scarce. But I was able to find out that certainly the early technical colleges, including Armagh Municipal Technical College, were very much established following the introduction of the Agriculture and Technical Instruction Act back in 1899 to fulfil the increasing skill needs of local industry and commerce. This very much flowed from following the Industrial Revolution in the mid-1800s and where there was a developing need for technical education emerging in recognition for new skills needs, supporting new manufacturing processes and indeed exploiting then the benefits of steam power. Now, despite the passing of time and the changing curriculum, the core principle of supporting skills development remain relevant to this very day. You only have to look at our own further education strategy, a document referred to as FE Means Success, published by the Department for the Economy, where our purpose as a further education college is very clearly stated, and that is to play a pivotal role in developing a strong and vibrant economy through the development of professional and technical skills to help employers to innovate and grow. No difference there. So over 115 years later, the cycle of education continues. We are here to create jobs and to ensure that young people are moved into employment and indeed people moving into better employment. Now, later this evening we will hear from Peter on the remarkable history of technical education here in Armagh City, from its humble beginnings on English Street through to the old market house in the centre of town and then to the current Lonsdale Street site in 1964. But I don't think any of us would disagree when I say that the investment that is now being made by our department and the college in this new campus building is certainly overdue. But the contribution also that the college has made over this period to wider civic society should never be forgotten, should never be underestimated either, and I'm honoured as Principal and Chief Executive to be in a position to carry forward the great work of those who have led the college during this period. We are very much at the heart of the community, and as a community college, it fills me with enormous pride when I consider the role that we have played in bringing together people from right across our communities over the last century, and I look forward to continuing that. I'm also extremely proud of the professionalism and dedication of our staff, both past and present, many of whom are here this evening, who have worked strenuously to transform the lives of so many people around this district. Many of whom have gone on to play important and prominent roles in business and commerce and public life. Now, the investment of over £95 million that the college and the Department for the Economy is making in 3 new state-of-the-art further education campuses across Armagh City, Banbridge and Craigavon Borough Council area will create a solid bedrock for the provision of a world-class professional and technical education system for future generations. And we as a college have high ambitions for the future of further education, not only in this city, but as I said, right across the region that we serve. And the investment in our new campuses will very much act as a catalyst for further curriculum development in the years ahead. This will include the development of the new traineeship and apprenticeship system. And the Southern Regional College's business engagement team will continue its fantastic work to date with local employers to identify skills needs and to create clear progression pathways for young people across many sectors to obtain sustainable and well-paid employment, whilst at the same time supporting those local companies to grow. We also are committed to developing new higher education opportunities here in Armagh, particularly in priority skills areas, in partnership with our local universities. These will include also higher apprenticeships. And I think it's fair to say that the design of the new building, and you'll hear later on from Mark in relation to that design, it very much reflects the ambition that the college has to be a more significant player in the higher education and higher skills space through the use of modern industrial workshops, state-of-the-art technology, and through the creation of project-based learning spaces that will support student enterprise and innovation with local businesses. It should not also be forgotten that our Armagh campus in particular has a long and proud history as a provider of A-levels. And again, I look forward to continuing to develop this offering to meet the wider needs of young people and adults right across the region. We are also, it shouldn't be forgotten, remain committed to working with our local schools. We have a significant schools partnership programme here in Armagh, working with all of the local schools. And I look forward to this new campus providing new opportunities to enhance the vocational qualifications offered at Key Stage 4 in particular, with and in conjunction with our local schools. So our vision is of a revitalised, reborn further education sector, one that is acutely responsive to the changing needs of a dynamic economy. This is being realised as I speak through our investment here in Armagh. It has been an exciting year for everyone at the college, and there's more excitement to come. And it would be remiss of me not to use this opportunity to thank a number of people who have played their part in helping us to get to this point. Firstly, to our Permanent Secretary, Dr. Andrew McCormick, for confirming the allocation of funding for this project late in July, in the midst of the ongoing political uncertainty. At least we got that one over the line. To the trustees of St Bridget's High School for leasing the property in Lonsdale Road to facilitate the relocation of elements of our curriculum during the construction of the new build that will start in the coming weeks. And on a personal note, I would like to pay tribute and thanks to all of our governors on the governing body and the Estates project team led by Rory Labley and the wider Estates team for the magnificent work that they have carried out to this point. I would also pay tribute to representatives of WIG, our design team here this evening, and also Mark Finlay from Kennedy Fitzgerald Architects for the magnificent work that they have done to date. And we look forward to continuing that work with them and seeing this project through to fruition. Also to our Council Chief Executive Roger Wilson, our local councillors and all of our MLAs for the support provided over the last number of years in getting it to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, our college is a vibrant and confident educational institution, one that is very much anchored in the heart of this community. And our new campus building will be the place where future generations of students will build their capacities and aspirations. And I look forward to standing here, please God, in 2020, welcoming you all back through the new campus building that will mark the next phase of further education in Armagh City. Thank you all once again for coming and sharing this moment with us this evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. So just to recap, we have planning permission, we have the funding, we have the design, and we are just about to communicate or announce who the preferred contractor is for the project. This is going to happen, folks. This is a real example of a new project coming into the Northern Ireland PLC. So the Armagh new build campus will happen within the next 3-year period. So that is really good news, and thank you, Brian, for your address. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Peter Murray, and to give you a little bio on Peter. Peter worked at the college for 25 years, from 1984 to 2009, initially as a lecturer in geography, up to A-level, with a little bit of history thrown in there, Peter, I'm led to believe. He then progressed to the role of senior lecturer within the college with responsibility for careers and student services right across the whole college. In that role, Peter had the opportunity to meet with a wide range of students who had come to learn in a further education environment. Peter has told us that he's a proud former colleague who says that he was privileged to work alongside a great group of educators, many of whom also taught him a lot whilst he was here. Peter remains a strong friend to Southern Regional College. He proactively promotes Southern Regional College from his role as head of careers at St Malachy's High School, Castlelong, and we remain grateful to him for doing that for us. And we're delighted to have him back with us this evening. And he will now take us back, I suppose, back in time to show us what things were like at the Armagh Technical School back in the day. So, Peter, you're welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much. Sort of overwhelmed that I was asked to give this talk. But nonetheless, I feel it's important, and I have many happy years here, and so not keep really longer. The history is, as Mr. Dorn has already pointed out, it began at the end of the 19th century. The Recess Committee of 1895 found that in England, £3 of public money was for each head of population spent on technical education, while in Ireland there was only 1 penny. It also found that the 19th century workforce was poorly trained, often in inadequate premises, and often on the job. There was a strong call at the time for education provision to be linked more closely with the so-called world of work. The Recess Committee's findings led to the funding of the Department of Agriculture and Technical Institutions in 1898. And its remit was to improve the country's agriculture and technical performance. It encouraged the setting up of municipal schools. And in 1902, the Municipal Technical School was established by Armagh District Council at 17 houses on English Street, rather cramped accommodation. Armagh didn't get the magnificent building that Belfast got. And Belfast at the time had a rates income of £1 million. So, in 1905, the curriculum included practical and theoretical plumbing, building and construction, practical geometry, practical maths, freehand and model drawing, clay modelling, cookery, dressmaking, shorthand, bookkeeping, business, really reflecting the economy of the time. In 1913, the Urban Council converted Market House in the centre of Armagh into the Armagh Technical School. However, the lower part of the building continued to be used as a grain market up to the time of the Second World War, when it became the local food office. And after the war, the food office was turned into a woodworking and engineering classroom. This building was to remain part of the tech until the late 1980s. I myself had the opportunity of teaching in the building. In 1936, the management of the school transferred to the from Armagh Urban Council to the County Education Committee. And despite this, there was little change in the curriculum offering. The classes continued to reflect the economy of the time: art, commerce, building trades, mechanical engineering, domestic science, dressmaking, carpentry. The austerity of the post-war, post-First World War 1920s and the economic collapse of the 1930s meant there was very little money for innovation or for adequate buildings. Education was dependent on the limited resources of a small market town and its rural hinterland. In 1947, the Northern Ireland Education Act made provision for a tripartite system of grammar schools, secondary technical schools and secondary intermediate schools. With this change came a significant growth in student numbers. The Market Street building was no longer large enough to accommodate all of the students. Junior technical classes were set up in Lynn Hall, Abbey Street, and in 1949 some classes moved to Beresford Road, which had been vacated by the Girls' High School. Bradford's old egg store in Dublin Street was taken over in the 60s, and Thompson's egg store was also occupied. So, by the end of the 1950s, it was decided to build a new technical and intermediate school on the site of what had previously been the Pavilion, a Regency period house built in its own grounds and renowned for its wide Georgian glazed windows. These windows are still kept, are still part of the architectural fabric of this building to this day. Despite the new building, it was not large enough to accommodate the growth in student numbers. And many of the outlying buildings that we've just talked about remained in service until the 1980s. By 1984, many of them had been taken out of service. In 1973, the Southern Education and Ivy Board took charge of the tech. And during the late 70s, the government introduced a youth training scheme to provide young people with a training transition between school and the workplace. This resulted in the purchase of Station Road and training facilities. And at the same time, a new building in Lisnally Lane opened in the early 80s. This saw a closure of Beresford Road and Dublin Street. In the 1990s, College Hill and Lonsdale buildings were merged with the movement of the City High School, the City High School to the Girls' Old High School on the Lisnally Lane. In doing my homework for this talk, I was struck very much by the ad hoc arrangements that the college had to face over the years in its efforts to provide an educational service to the community. The new building is a timely and welcome development in a time of rapid economic and social change. It will allow the Armagh campus to do what it has always done, and that is to fill those educational service gaps missed by other providers and enable people in this area to update their skills in a fast and changing labour market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. You're right to identify Peter consolidation, and that's what the plans for this new building. We're currently here and in Lisnally Lane, and our skills training is in Bond Road. Part of the exercise here naturally will be to bring all our staff and students under the one footprint. We're currently, as you're aware, we've left here and we've moved onto the former St Bridget's site on Lonsdale Road, and that is working well for us at the minute in time, and we're grateful, as Brian said, to the trustees and all those who have made that happen. But naturally, we want to be back in 2020 under the one roof, and we think it will absolutely make for an outstanding facility when that happens. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Hugh McAlevey. Hugh worked at the college for 35 years, from 1965 through to 2000. He began his teaching practice in Armagh Technical School in 65, progressed to a full-time teaching post in 66. He progressed to vice principal in 1986 and then principal in 1993. And Hugh retired from Armagh College in 2000, and we're hoping he continues to enjoy a really healthy retirement. And we're delighted to have him here this evening to share his memories from a principal's perspective. Hugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got off to a very bad start tonight because almost the first person I spoke to said that I had thrown him out of the college here. To make it worse, he's now an MLA. That reminded me that a few years ago I hurt myself at home. I was doing a bit of gardening work and I cut my arm and I went up to the Tar Hill to get some repairs done, and the doctor there asked me when last I had had a tetanus injection. I couldn't remember. But he said he would inquire, and he sent me on into casualty, and there was a male nurse and a female nurse who were doing work. The fellow was taking the arm, I think they were working at it. And we worked a wee while, and then the doctor came in with a sheet of paper that he put down on the desk beside the nurse, and the nurse glanced at it and he said, "Oh, McAlevey, oh yeah, you put me out of the tech in 1970. And he said to the nurse, "You know the big syringe we have right in the back there?" So, well, when I left the college at the end of August 2000, I was pretty sure that my days of speaking in public at these buildings were at an end. fact, the last time I spoke previously, last time I spoke would have been at the final staff meeting which I would have held. I seem to remember it was the 16th of June in 2000. I seem also to remember we had a great feed of strawberries and cream or whatever was sort of popular at that time. It was very good, and I expect to get the same thing tonight, but I'm not really disappointed with the feed we have. But I was reluctant to agree to speak here once again, but Darrell was very persuasive, and she convinced me that my curriculum would provide an appropriate link between the opening of the buildings in 1965 and their closure in 2017, given that I was here more or less at the start and that I'm still not far away. Now, my original connection with the college, as I already told, was as a student at Queen's when I came on teaching practice in November in 1965. And the building in Lonsdale Street over here, where I was placed at that time, had been designed and built as a single block of 14 teaching spaces and a gymnasium, and it had been occupied only since September of 1965. At the end of the later stages of that block's construction, it was acknowledged by the powers that be that already it was too small, and a new provision, and a second block rather, comprising 10 general classrooms was built to the rear, opening for the teaching of secretarial and commercial courses in 1966. I don't remember learning very much about teaching from my period of observation. It was only a couple of weeks. But I do recall that there were beautiful parquet floors in the classrooms. And the caretaker, who was a well-known local character called P.D. Collins, toured the rooms at that time, nailing coasters onto the bottoms of the teachers' new chairs. I remember too, there was no staff room, and therefore no break. He also came around the classrooms with a tray of assorted mugs of coffee, part of the way through the morning. Armagh County Secondary School opened also in 1965, and it shared a site along the whole of Lonsdale Street here with the technical school. Mr. Hugh McElwain, held the joint positions of headmaster of Armagh County Secondary School and the principal of Armagh Technical School. And the secondary, like the technical school, was constructed as a single block. Now, as well as sharing a headmaster, the two institutions shared a school meals provision, which is this here, and an assembly hall, which is beyond us at the back. In later years, I discovered, well, I knew there was a boiler house, there had to be a boiler house, but what I didn't realise was that in it there was a small pot-belly stove, and I have no doubt that the caretaking staff spent quite a bit of their time hunting around that pesky pot-belly stove in the cold months, but I wasn't cute enough to check until much later. In 1995, the county secondary relocated to Lonsdale Road as the City of Armagh High School, and the tech expanded into the buildings of the former secondary school. Now, when I was appointed to the staff in September '66 to a permanent position, I was based mainly on the Lonsdale Street site. And even though the school and the newly built extension were fully in use at that time, the old building in Market Street, which is now the public library, was fully used by the tech and will continue to be used into the 80s until the opening of another new building in Lonsdale Road. And there was some reference earlier there to the bottom floor of that building being an engineering workshop. And in my first year as a teacher here, I was asked on a Saturday to supervise a full day City and Guilds advanced craft brickwork examination in the basement of that building. But back to this site. There are a few things that I remember fondly from my early days. My salary, for one. Now, my salary on appointment was £805 per annum, with an additional allowance of £50 for successful completion of that teaching diploma. So the gross salary was therefore £855, and it was paid monthly. After tax and other deductions, my take-home pay was £55.18 per month, or roughly £55.92 in today's currency. And I have to say that there were teachers at that time who had come through the old commercial teaching training system. They didn't have a degree, and they were actually paid less than that. Their take-home pay would be something like £13 odd per week. In the early 60s, pupils could enroll in tech at 11 and 12 years of age. And at that time, many pupils who did not go to grammar schools had no secondary school to enroll in because there weren't any. These pupils had to remain in their primary schools until they were 15, where quite often their education was left to stagnate. There was the alternative of coming to the technical school to follow craft courses, or craft courses combined with academic studies. Now, I learned a few months ago that the Southern Regional College was taking out a 3-year lease on the premises of St. Bridget's High School on the Nursery Road in Armagh, and I learned later that the site will be rebranded as the Killilay Road site for what the Southern Regional College believes are good marketing reasons. When I started in tech, and for some years afterwards, full-time pupils were compelled to wear a school uniform. And the school uniform for boys was a navy blue blazer with a badge, white shirt, red trousers, and for girls a navy blazer and a skirt with a white shirt. All pupils were required to wear a tie, red, white and blue stripes. The badge on the blazer was the same colours. I have to smile to myself when I see the careful branding of the former St. Bridget's school site by the Southern Regional College today. There was no such sensitivity in the 60s. There was also a summer uniform for girls. It was a blue and white striped dress, or as referred to then, a frock. And it's rather unkindly known as butcher's aprons. All pupils were expected to maintain high standards of personal appearance. At the very first school assembly held in here in the assembly hall, which I attended after my appointment, the headmaster sent a boy home because his hair was too long. It didn't do him any harm because that boy is now a man. He lives in Milford and he still sports a very good head of hair, although it's not just as dark as it was the day he was sent home. I'll tell you who it was later, you know. In 1972, the school leaving age was raised to 16. But pupils they couldn't any longer leave school at 15, but they could transfer to an FE college. And they tried to get the capital out of that by dropping the idea of their compulsory wearing of school uniform. That was seen as a marketing to them. As has been said before too, the college building here at Lonsdale Street was at the centre of the development of A-level courses for which the college was renowned throughout Northern Ireland. The role of technical colleges was expected to be the provision of vocational education and training as distinct from academic work, which was seen as the preserve of mainly the grammar sector. The college felt that the development of vocational courses in Armagh was being frustrated by the policy of the Department of Education and the SNLB in restricting Armagh to the teaching of the first year only on courses in engineering and in construction and in the, what you would call, I suppose, the first step in courses of catering, with second and subsequent years to be taken in other colleges. That was the way we were pressed, shall we say. So Armagh switched its resources to the teaching of A-level and post-A-level courses with great success, to the extent that the college was for many years the leading provider of undergraduates to Queen's and the University of Ulster. And I should like at this stage to take an opportunity to pay tribute to the contribution of a dedicated staff to the success of the college. Some of them are here this evening. Many were still in post when I left the college in 2000, and in the interim have been allowed to leave without, in my view, adequate acknowledgement of their contribution. Indeed, in some cases their contribution was belittled. Ironically, by managers who came to the college because of that very good reputation which the college had. I suppose I'm a little biased, but I feel that the Tech was a great place to work in, and more importantly, an enjoyable place to learn in. Young people have always been happy and well cared for here. Community relations were strong and lasting, even in the darkest days. Staff-student relationships were excellent, and some staff-staff relationships were quite lasting too. A couple of light-hearted memories come to mind. As a demonstration of the cross-community relationships which we enjoyed, Catholic and non-Catholic students would occasionally attend services in each other's churches. Many of you will remember Oliver Grimes, who worked alongside me for many years. On a particular Ash Wednesday morning, Oliver and I and a group of Catholic students attended the Church of Ireland for a morning service. And we went up the aisle towards the altar, and when he reached his seat, Oliver genuflected and took his place. And I was behind him, and just in time I realised that one does not do that in the Church of Ireland. The same Oliver Grimes, amongst whose teaching responsibilities were PE and games, was popular with many students, whether he taught them or not. I remember that one of the boys won £150 in bookies. Oliver got to hear of it, and he persuaded the boy to give him £150, but I had to look after it for him. And over the course of time, that boy would have applied to get some money out and would have bought his shoes or his clothes or whatever. And it was a sensible way to dole the money out, otherwise it would go straight back to the bookies. The other thing I remember, just a story, I don't know what it illustrates, but I remember there used to be inter-schools dances in Gopsil, and that's probably back a good distance. And I would sort of in around the door, and staff in the various schools were there, and there was a lady who worked at we say a competitor school in the area here, and she came out of the main dancing area and she said, "You better get in quick, there was 2 boys from the tech fighting." So I went in, and there were a couple of boys fighting, and sorted it out pretty quick, back out. And I met her, and I said, "Well, that's all sorted out, I'm away, and weren't from the tech." And she says, "Well, the doctors if they're from the tech." I suppose I should feel that these buildings, I should feel sad that these buildings will be going, but I'm not. I'm pleased that the Southern Regional College is prepared to invest in a brand new educational campus on this site. One of the difficulties of being so close to a place is that one doesn't see it growing old and dated. I have been in a few of the new generation college buildings, and they are excellent, a world away from the mid-20th century buildings. I trust that the generation of students which will inhabit the new campus here will be as happy and as successful as their predecessors were. We have Sean Barton here tonight from the museum, and you will be aware, as mentioned tonight as well, that integrated into the building of Armagh County Secondary School in 1965 were the windows from the pavilion that stood on the site previously. On Monday of this week, I found a post on Facebook which read, "Beautiful late Georgian Regency Road windows from the pavilion in Armagh City are looking for a new home. They were rescued and refitted when the original building was demolished, but now that building is being demolished." Now today, this evening, is about linking the college of the past with the college of the future. And what better start would there be than to find a place in the new campus to retain one of our own links with this site. I'm interested to hear from the architects or from the Southern Regional College what the fate of these windows is to be. And finally, back again a little in history. As I mentioned earlier, the Southern Regional College has temporarily relocated to the site of the former St. Bridget's High School, which opened in 1972. When the school was recruiting its teaching staff, I applied for the post of teacher of mathematics in the school, and I was appointed. I nearly left it tech at that point. I'm glad I didn't.
You've left us with a challenge, architects. Wise man, used the opportunity well. I'm reflecting, in some ways everything changes, but nothing changes. The tech ones are getting blamed for everything still, even when it's not them. And I suppose different times you're reflecting on the uniform and the dress style. I can't imagine us having any success in asking anyone to get their hair cut, or asking the young girl that's out on the table as she was going off to do her teacher training to pose in the short dress and skirt that she's out there. Everybody makes the point of looking at that. It's absolutely different times. It's certainly a different world that we all operate in now. Maybe not for the better, but certainly there are different times. So thank you for that. I'm moving on then to our next speaker, and I'm delighted to introduce Professor Paddy Gray. Professor Gray from Ulster University is the only professor of housing in Ireland, and amongst his many accolades has been awarded a Distinguished Community Fellowship by Ulster University for his outstanding work in the community. He has over 300 international publications and has presented at conferences all over the world. He is seen as an expert in housing in the UK and in Ireland, and we are proud in Southern Regional College to have him as one of our alumni. Professor Gray completed O-levels and A-levels in Geography, English and French at Armagh Tech during the period 1973 to 76, and we're delighted to have him here this evening to share his memories from a student's perspective. Pat.
Thank you very much, Raymond, and I'm delighted to be here. It's about 40 years since I was here before. I was only 5 when I came here, actually, just to get that over you. But it's funny, listening to some of the stories, and Hugh tried to throw me out as well. On 3 occasions, but I managed to get back in. There was 2 different answers. He can't call me back, he just got fed up after a while. It's funny, a few weeks ago I was speaking at a conference. I was actually speaking at an awards dinner in Birmingham, and I was asked to tell a few jokes, and so anyway I told them everything went down well. Last week I was speaking in Manchester to a group of solicitors. You see a few of them here in the audience. A group of solicitors, and I thought to myself, I was only about 50 of them, I said, I'll tell the same jokes. And just as we were about to get up, because see how they recognize this woman, come over to Bobby and says, Paddy, your speech last week was brilliant, and I love your jokes. So, why am I telling you that? I have the agenda here tonight. I did a little, John from the Gazette had actually got me to do a little piece for him at the weekend, and so I thought, I was driving in the car tonight from Belfast, and I thought, well, I'll just tell that story, because nobody will read because I don't want to with them. When I walked in, what did I do? Giving out free copies, something like that. So you've got what I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you it anyway. And the first thing about it was, whatever one of the lines that I had in the article, when I came to the TAC, it was way back in 1973. At Armagh, those people will remember, it was a pretty difficult time. I came from a Catholic all-boys school, and I came into this new school, and for the first time really I met females and Protestants. It was absolutely unbelievable. But my life's never changed. I'm not saying which one improved it and which didn't. But anyway, what John did was, John sent me this headline at the weekend for the Gazette. He says, Paddy, what do you think? It says, no looking back for Paddy after his introduction to females and Protestants. And I said, please, John, I think we're better, social media, I think we're better maybe lose that one. Because it was pretty taken out of context. The point I was probably making was that the TAC at the time was an integrated school. And we talked about creating integrated education for years and years and years. We had it here, and it was fantastic. And I never forget that, the fact that, and it certainly made my life, improved my life much better, the fact that we had that. And it gave me that sort of, I suppose, foundation in the rest of my career, is to look at everyone as equal and to work with everyone as equals. And that in itself, and that's where the community stuff comes in, a lot of that as well. But I suppose coming back to the time and some of the stories, I did write a couple of notes here in this agenda, by the way, just in case, because, as I said, I didn't have a prepared speech. But the teachers were absolutely fantastic. Even Hugh was fantastic. And Albert Grimes, of course, he used to catch us smoking all the time outside the toilets, I remember, down here. But we had 2 particular teachers, Dickie Burke and Jack Wilson. And I think both of them, I'm not sure, but certainly Jack's passed away anyway. But Dickie used to teach us English, and that building over there at the end, and Jack taught us geography. Now it used to be we were sitting in Dickie's class. Dickie for some reason always stood at the back when he was teaching. But all the girls were going to stay from in where they are, and stood over in the middle of the girls. And we didn't know why, it was just gone, he just taught from that side. But about 3 o'clock we'd be sitting, and there was a TV in the room. And about 3 o'clock Jack would be hovering outside. And the next time the class would stop and Jack would come in, the TV would be opened and at 3:30 at hospital would go on. And then after the class would start again. And of course, if you really if you really got to like you became his errand boy and you were sent to the movies. And then Jack had this sort of, for some reason, didn't like girls. And he used to get up and he used to be writing on the board, and we'd always be maybe carrying on. And Jack used to turn around, please shut up, girls. And then he was what fantastic teachers. I mean, the learning experience was unbelievable. And I would love to pay a special tribute to Adele Brown, who was my French teacher. And I said, I came to this school totally disillusioned with education. I didn't want to go forward. I left this school just with an appetite for learning, because I wanted to learn, and that was instilled in me by the professionalism of the staff here at that time, how they treated you like adults, but at the same time guided you and ensured that you didn't look like someone come from the back. But Adele was fantastic. She was, she gave me a passion for France and all things French. And I really did. I speak perfect French, but no one in France can understand me because I speak with an Armagh accent. And but we had a reunion recently, and I think Mary McKenna now is in the audience, or Mary was at it as well. And there was a few of us actually come back. A couple of guys. One guy was a surgeon in Aberdeen. He's now living in Dublin, here in McBride, and Jerry Gribbon came over from London, who's an architect over there as well. We all came back just to celebrate. The others were there. I'm not going to mention their names because I can't really forget what they actually did. But we all came back anyway because we had Adele over a few years. And she was absolutely delighted. In her house set had Scotch. She was still able to talk to me about existentialism and about sort of some of the Camus art, all of that stuff that we did, and lived with me. And I had been following my career, which I didn't realise at the time, until one time Hugh actually sent me an email to tell me that she was asking about me. So I was delighted to meet her and was delighted to go to her school. And that's what it's all about, is looking back and seeing what you can do. Employability, it's crucial. I mean, at my time at Ulster University, I've been there now for 30 years, and we've cherished that principle of employability. And in the course that I ran, the housing course, our students all did a year out on placement, and we nearly 100%, practically 100% people getting jobs straight off that, and it was because of their placement. One particular guy, Martin Armstrong, who was my first graduate, and I sent him on a year's placement in Glasgow, and Martin lived in what was called the notorious Red Road Flats in Glasgow. And it weren't notorious, but Martin 6 years ago came to chief executive of Glasgow, and he blew up the flats. Derry can't blow up flats, I suppose. But that's that story. But he got it wrong. They never actually demolished. They never came down fully. But to see that level of how people progress, and I mean, all of that would never have happened if I hadn't been here at this college, which I cherish. I've never forgotten my Armagh roots either, and I love that as well. So could I wish everyone the best? Could I wish you, Brian, Raymond, a lot of you, the best in the future? And I'd always be part of this in some way or other. It'll always be in my heart, and it's great to be back here again. Unfortunately, I have to go now to Newcastle, but today my students, actually my postgrad students, were organising a conference in Le Mans in Belfast, and just some of the topics that they were doing. They all work for the housing executive, all postgraduate. Just when you think of the topics that we're presenting on, facing the future challenges, the pathway to tenancy sustainment, keeping people in their homes, raising the dementia challenge, homeless services and substance abuse, looking at that, designing out antisocial behaviour, understanding the challenges of the needs in the rural communities. And in a way, all of these issues are very close to our heart, and it's great to see young people doing that. And that will come out of this region. I know it will be valuable, the experience here, and people will cherish that, and hopefully look back as fondly as I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paddy. I'd just like to reassure you that the teachers are still brilliant in the task. So it is in the college, and indeed all the staff are exemplar in that regard, and I would like to take the opportunity to pay a compliment to them at this stage. I mentioned earlier that we are the best performing college, and over a period now of 4 years, student outcomes have been measured and benchmarked against all the other FE colleges within Northern Ireland, and we're extremely proud to be the best performing college when measured against all the other in Northern Ireland. So I think that should give past pupils and past staff of the college some reassurance that we're still trying to keep that ethos going and keep it strong. Also, you make a very, very good point with regards to the employability bit and the opportunity for, if you like, employment experience whilst you're being educated in the college. But have also a strong focus in that regard in terms of either a project-based learning where we take projects from industry into the college and use those as real-life working examples for the student cohort, or indeed as many opportunities as possible to allow students to experience the workplace. So again, very much in line with what industry wants, and again, it's a challenge for us to try to make sure that we match what we're doing in this space with what industry needs, but we increasingly have strong relationships with both industry in the area and indeed the community groups in the area, all with the view to ensuring that what we're doing inside the confines of the college meets with the needs of industry and community. So glad to hear from you, good to see you. So we're going to take a little break from the speeches and play a short video for you which will look back at the Armagh Technical School's journey from its formative years right up to the present day. And the video will also give you an insight into what the future Armagh campus will look like. And then we'll invite Mark Finlay up to give you some of the technical information related to that. So if you sit back and enjoy the film, and hopefully this is going to be important to you. there's a pot-belly stove anywhere. Another challenge for the architect. To learn a little bit more about how our exciting new campus will continue to drive professional and technical skills in the Armagh area for generations to come, I am delighted to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Mark Finlay. Mark is one of the 3 partners at Kennedy Fitzgerald Architects. Mark leads the university and third level education department at Kennedy Fitzgerald with a range of completed projects across the UK, particularly in Scotland and Northern Ireland, including projects at Queen's University in Belfast and the University of Strathclyde. Mark is lead designer for the Armagh and Clegavon campuses, working alongside a team of experienced architects and a wide range of specialist consultants from White Young Green Consulting. Mark is RIBA accredited conservation architect and has had a key role in liaison with the historic environmental division of the Armagh site. So, Mark, I welcome you to the podium.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Looking back this evening, we welcomed the suggestion about the smashing idea about keeping pavilion windows. We'll talk to our employer about those. I'm not sure that Microsoft still provide updates for those windows, but we'll do our best. Looking backwards to more recent history, in summer 2015, as part of a WYG team, Kennedy Fitzgerald working together with them, we were involved in putting together a very comprehensive tender package with the aspiration to become the design team for SRC. And as part of that research, we looked very closely at SRC's literature to establish how we could deliver not just a standard college facility, but a unique and bespoke facility that captures the values and vision of this whole organisation. We read that the values and vision of SRC, first of all, their vision is to be a leading provider of professional and technical training prized by individuals and employers in the local community and beyond, and that its mission is to transform lives through meaningful, enjoyable learning experiences. And alongside their values of SRC are to put the learner first and strive for excellence and working together to achieve more. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very easy to come up with flowery words like these about aims and aspirations which are on paper, but in reality may not always happen. But as it has been our experience with working with SRC that consistently across all the levels of staff that we work with, that these are very much being the aspirations. And this is a credit to the leadership of the college that this has been so consistently demonstrated. The principles require SRC to think outside the learning box, and we have found through our experience as lead designers within the WYG team that consistently these 3 goals have been central to the approach. And the end result of this is a completed design that is putting learners first, which is striving for excellence, and that working together really does achieve more. In 2015, in November, not long after we'd been appointed, we led a design workshop with SRC's governing body to work together to assess how a range of design options fared when assessed against these 3 SRC values. And it was clear that from that meeting that there was a shared understanding within the governing bodies that these values are fundamental to the life of the college, and that the option 3 at that stage, which you can see on the screen now, was very much the preferred option. This option keeps the public spaces such as care and beauty and the large assembly space and dining spaces to the front of the building, and it encourages interaction with the public while providing enough setback from the road to remove distraction from the main areas of learning. This approach creates the opportunity for a landscape connection between the new building and the courthouse, linking the landscape of the Mall into our site and allowing the public parkland to flow with minimal interruption into our site. This in turn provides opportunity for commercial interaction between key departments of the college, such as care and beauty with passers-by, allowing the facility to become very much anchored within the heart of the community. The layout creates the opportunity to achieve excellence through providing enjoyable learning environments. The quality landscape setting creates spaces for learners to interact in a tranquil setting, allowing peer-to-peer learning to continue after formal teaching time is ended, while cross-pollination between departments is achieved through views across the courtyard between key spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, this design process has proven that working together will achieve more. This is true in relation to the stakeholder engagement which we've gone through over the last couple of years, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's also true in relation to working together to understand how best to exploit new technologies, striving together for excellence in this area. Across the UK, construction professionals have for a number of years been grappling with how to achieve on a project-by-project basis the UK government's BIM implementation target. For many, this whole concept of BIM has been alien and beyond the walls of our professions. The term probably means very little, but according to Google, building information modelling, or BIM, is a digital representation of physical and functional characteristics of a facility. A BIM is a shared knowledge resource for information about a facility, forming a reliable basis for decisions during its life cycle, defined as existing from earliest conception to demolition. The UK's government's 2011 construction strategy embraced the use of BIM and mandated its use to maturity level 2 on all centrally procured HM government projects by the 4th of April 2016. The strategy highlighted its use as core to challenging existing industry business models and practices and driving greater collaboration, efficiency, innovation and value across all elements of the industry. They note words like collaboration, innovation, challenging existing models, and the parallels with SRC's key values of working together to achieve more collaboration and fostering a culture that values innovation. In reality, BIM involves the computer modelling of the building fabric, structure and services in 3 separate computer models, and combining these models to produce a single coordinated federated model, providing the builder with a single coordinated information source which includes all the information needed to transfer responsibility for completion of the project from the design team to the contractor. The contractor can in turn develop the model during the building phase so that a final model can be handed back to the college's facilities management team to allow effective and efficient management of the facility. Before working together in this project, Kennedy Fitzgerald and WIG were at the cutting edge of BIM implementation within Northern Ireland. And through working with SRC, we have found a highly informed client, a client who's already been putting themselves first in relation to college-wide BIM training, and a client who has ambitions to strive for excellence in this field. We've worked together with Rory Lavery, Gary Young, Gary Farrell and Peter Monaghan to fully exploit these technologies throughout all phases of project development. Together we have developed our BIM models from this yellow concept blog from November 2015 to a rigorously developed federated model that includes all aspects of the site works and how the building is put together. This has facilitated an exceptional programme of stakeholder engagement. It has allowed us to liaise with statutory agencies, local community groups, and to communicate to them complex proposals in ways that ordinary two-dimensional drawings could never communicate. We've been able to comprehensively convince statutory agencies like the Historic Environment Division that a large-scale development of this nature can be designed with minimal impact on the nearby monuments and listed buildings such as the courthouse and the nearby observatory. Fundamentally, this technology has allowed SRC, WIG and Kennedy Fitzgerald to engage with teaching staff and learners in ways that were never possible before. The result of this is that the needs of learners will be fully satisfied in finished design today, but also for many years to come. We are now in a position where the building model has developed from a yellow block to a highly detailed model which includes furniture, appliances, specialist tools and equipment, all modeled in 3 dimensions, including clearly defined safety regimes around each element. And this has allowed us to work through each teaching space and each workshop to explore how that space can be fully exploited by each individual member of staff. Detailed data sheets have allowed us to effectively road test each space within the college through a series of user workshops. And within the process, we've been able to capture today's requirements as well as build in for tomorrow's ambitions, creating a design that can evolve and adapt to meet developing pedagogical techniques and approaches. Alongside this, we've worked together with the college to achieve excellence through integrating the highest standards of sustainability, socially, economically and environmentally. The new building will be delivered with a BREEAM Excellent accreditation, recognising the huge effort that has been made to create a facility that benefits the whole community, maximising potential for public transport use and minimising the impact on the environment and the ecology around it with minimal energy and CO2 emissions throughout the life of the building. Kennedy Fitzgerald worked with educational institutions across the UK, including the University of Glasgow, Strathclyde and Queen's University Belfast. And at many of these institutions we have heard the term project-based learning being mentioned. In some cases we've developed very high-level conceptual models and proposals of how spaces could be developed to allow a range of schools to work together in a single project. At Queen's University, a project with Keir Building proposes a shared dream, design, deliver space for engineering facilities, allowing aeronautics to chemical engineering schools all to work together in one space. Already SRC have moved past this concept stage of developing this learning strategy, and a new facility in Armagh, as well as a parallel project in Craigavon, includes adaptable creative spaces available to all departments where shared cutting-edge technologies from a range of departments are accessible, including sophisticated 3D printers alongside flexible creative innovation spaces, boardroom spaces and experimental areas. These zones can be exploited in partnership with real-world industry to act as a creative hub for production for product development. These unique long-term partnerships will ultimately lead to long employment opportunities for the learners. Ladies and gentlemen, we can look forward with confidence towards the future of SRC in this site and a finished building that will exceed expectations. SRC, WIG and Kennedy Fitzgerald have worked together to achieve more. Together we have strived for a new level of excellence, and ultimately we believe the new facility will transform the lives of future learners through a meaningful and enjoyable learning experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Really exciting stuff. We in Lonsdale Regional College are very excited by this 21st century college, and we would hope and think that you should be too. You should be really excited about what's coming into the Armagh area over the next 3 years. We do have a small ask of you this evening, and we really want you to take the message given tonight out beyond here. Share it with as many people in community and in industry that you have contacts with. We strive in that area all the time. We recognise we need to be doing that better. We need to be reaching our tentacles in as far as possible, but we need individuals here tonight to take, if you like, the gospel or the message away and say Southern Regional College is moving into a new space, top of the range, industry relevant facilities that we really want industry to come in and engage with us, and the student population to see this as a route to their future careers. So that's the one ask we would have with you tonight.
He was always in the morning, you say. But not to what he chose.
Thank you.